writes to the 12 tribes in the dispersion. Well, that has to be the church. Why? James is writing to the 12 tribes of Israel, Jews scattered throughout the world, bringing them the message that God has given to him. I want you to be clear. Israel is always Israel. The church is always the church. This used to be probably the dominant belief among Bible-believing Christians. It has come to be a minority position today. As many believers, many of our institutions like seminaries have moved away from a belief and a clear distinction between Israel and the church. But the Bible hasn't changed. Israel is still Israel. The church is still the church. And anything else will bring confusion to your understanding of prophecy. Come over to Revelation chapter 7. You never thought we would get here, right? But if you don't understand this, Revelation 7 is a jumble. Go pull down a half a dozen commentaries on Revelation 7 and see what a jumble is. Confusion over a failure to understand Israel as Israel. In Revelation chapter 7, we have the sealing of the 144,000. The first 8 verses cover that. Verses 9 to 17 give a second vision, the martyrs that are brought to our attention that are before the presence of God. Now, chapter 7 follows the 6th seal that closed chapter 6. The 6th seal judgment was the last thing in Revelation chapter 6. Chapter 8 begins, and when he broke the 7th seal. So chapter 7 fits between the 6th seal judgment and the 7th seal judgment. What you're going to have take place with the sealing of the 144,000 in the first 8 verses is before the final judgments of the 70th week of Daniel are poured out on the earth, God is going to specially seal and protect 144,000 Jews on the earth to guarantee their survival through the awful judgments that are about to break forth on the people of the world. The 6th seal judgment brought us to about the middle, just up to the middle of the tribulation period. The first 3.5 years, basically, were covered by the first 6 seal judgments. Out of the 7th seal is going to come all the rest of the judgments, the rest of the book of the Revelation. So when the 7th seal is opened in chapter 8, you have the final phase and the final step in God's judgments. It will climax with Christ's return, the establishing of his kingdom, and the move into eternity. For out of the 7th seal will come the 7 trumpet judgments. Out of the 7th trumpet judgment will come the 7 bowl judgments. The rest of the judgments are included in this final seal. The last 3.5 years of the 7-year tribulation are a time of awful judgment, suffering, and death on the face of the earth. That's not to say the first 3.5 years weren't terrible. Over 1/4 of the earth's population has already been destroyed. But the judgments are going to get so severe during this last 3.5 years that Jesus said in Matthew chapter 24, and I believe it's verse 22, that if he did not intervene at the end of 7 years, there would not be a person left alive on the face of the earth. So to guarantee a surviving remnant of Jews, 144,000 will be sealed. Let's look at Revelation chapter 7, verse 1. After this I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, so that no wind could blow on the earth or on the sea or on any tree. 4 angels are pictured here now. And these 4 angels holding back the winds from the 4 corners of the earth. Picturing the whole earth is in view here. It's like we talk about coming from the 4 points of the compass, or we still use the expression the 4 corners of the earth. No misunderstanding that the earth is not a square. But it's a way of saying the entire world is in view here. And these 4 angels are pictured as holding tightly to restrain these coming judgments. That's the impact of this word, to hold back. They're holding on tight restraint. Judgments that are straining to break forth on the earth. And the winds that will break forth on the earth, the trees, the sea, will be seen in the opening trumpet judgments, for example, in chapter 8. The destructive forces that are about to break forth on the earth are being held back by the angels. Interesting study for you would be the use of the angels in the purpose and program of God. The book of Revelation, angels have a very strong part to play. It's interesting in the Bible, the part that angels often play in the use of what we call natural forces. For example, in Revelation, we're going to meet an angel of the waters that has control and authority over the waters of the earth. An angel of fire who has authority and power over fire. And here you have the angels about to bring destructive forces to bear on the trees and the sea and the earth itself. It's interesting, back in the book of Job, when God gave Satan permission to afflict Job. Job chapter 1, you find what? Satan turns loose the lightning of heaven. Then Satan turns loose the winds to blow down a building on the children of Job. You see angelic involvement, even what we call the natural forces of the world. Sometimes think of this as I watch news reports on a tornado or a hurricane. Wonder what part did angelic, fallen and unfallen angelic beings play in the plan and program of God in directing those forces and using them for the accomplishment of God's purposes. So here you see these angels restraining coming judgment. Verse 2, and I saw another angel ascending from the rising of the sun, having the seal of the living God, and he cried out with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was granted to harm the earth and the sea, saying, do not harm the earth, or the sea, or the trees, until we have sealed the bondservants of our God on their foreheads. Here comes an angel with superior authority who gives instruction to these four angels. They are to continue to restrain judgment until this angel and those with him, it's a plural, until we have sealed the servants of God in their forehead. We're not told what the seal of God is here, but over in chapter 14 and verse 1. And I looked, and behold, the Lamb was standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his name and the name of his Father written on their foreheads. So evidently the seal placed on them is the name of the Father and the name of the Lamb written on their foreheads. Does not have to be written in a visible way, any more than the fact that you and I as believers have been sealed by God. That seal does not have to be visibly marked on us, but is marked out so that these will be spared the coming judgment. Look in Revelation chapter 9, where you get involved with angelic beings and the forces they bring to bear on the earth. Verse 4 of Revelation 9. They were told that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, nor any green thing, nor any tree, but only the men who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. The angels will see the seal. And these angelic beings are forbidden to hurt any of the 144,000 who have the seal of God on their foreheads. But their judgments are directed against those who don't have the seal. So you see, what the seal in the forehead of the 144,000 does is preserve and protect them from the coming judgments that will be brought to bear on the earth. The background for this seal in Revelation 7 is in the prophecy of Ezekiel. Turn back to Ezekiel chapter 9. What takes place in Ezekiel 9 is very parallel to what takes place in Revelation chapter 7. God is about to bring massive judgment on the city of Jerusalem, the nation of Israel, for their sinful rebellion against Him. There is going to be a massacre in Jerusalem But before the massacre occurs,